One day, as I was driving to pick up my son from school, I felt very privileged. And not only to be able to pick him up from school, but to take him every morning, to take him lunch from Lindo. And I said, well, how did I get to be so privileged? And at that moment, it hit me. It did. And it was the moment that my parents made the choice to risk their lives to bring me to this country so I could have a better life and a lot more opportunities than they did back in Mexico. So that this little girl right here could be here today.
The best thing that I can do is to share my lived experiences in a very transparent way with young women that are in that pipeline, and to reassure them that the things that they're experiencing have been experienced before. There are women that went before me that were kind enough to share their experiences with me, and that's why I've been able to be successful.
When you're a solo parent, you don't have the involvement of the other parent, and you're just doing it completely on your own. And that's been the challenge that I have faced in trying to build a career, also be a full-time parent. So it's very much a balancing act. And the reality is that 40% of single moms live in poverty. And so it's important that we provide them the support and the resources and accommodate them so that they too can have a place at the table.
I'm a very self-sufficient person. I've always been pretty sure of my own ability to get the things done that I need to get done on my own. And suddenly I was in a position where I couldn't do it by myself. And my community just showed up, and it taught me that it was okay to not do it by myself, and to accept help and to offer help, and that we're all doing this together.
Being influential doesn't mean that you're this person who's bossy. What it means is that you are able to inspire people. It also means that you have a responsibility to make sure that those around you are serviced and that they have the things that they need. That's our job as servant leaders, as people who are influential. Our job is not just to sit back and, collect all the kudos. Our job is to serve.
My career is a series of unexpected events. I have a biology degree, and I wanted to be Jane Goodall. And now I'm managing a tribal sovereign private equity fund, so go figure. I've lived everywhere from Goose Bay, Labrador to Bali, Indonesia, and I really have found that women throughout the world have tremendous strength. I mean, through their compassion, through their passion, through their knowledge. And I think one of the greatest resiliencies they have is being able to read a room and read a situation and being able to adapt and improvise so that the outcomes for all of the people involved are the very best outcomes.
And this community is so supportive of young leaders. I mean, I feel like everywhere you turn, there's another organization that's trying to engage young leaders and to try to find a way to encourage them to become more involved. Essentially, I think that you just stick to it and find something you're passionate about. If you're really passionate about a given organization or a cause, just stick to it, and it makes it just so natural to get involved, to be involved, and to stay involved.
The focus on giving back to the community. I mean, philanthropy is huge in West Michigan. And collaboration over competition. So Gold Coast launched our diaper drive 6+ years ago, and I was surprised by how many businesses wanted to get on board and support our efforts to help low-income women and newborns.
There are some beautiful, bold, confident, resilient women on the front lines that are making our community a better community. And leadership is not easy. So if you get the opportunity to use your platform to feel like a superstar, then do it. I'm inspired by West Michigan because I have been selected as one of those individuals that can plop down at the table and change the narrative. Yes, there are some systemic barriers that we have to address, but when I'm called as one of the 50 most influential women, I can be a part of that narrative change. And so I'm inspired by West Michigan every day that I get to do what I love.
When there's health disparities and there's injustices that have historically been here and then they're exacerbated, how do we wrestle with that? And out of that, we were able, I think, to build stronger relationships and lean in as a community to say, what is the common good for our whole community? We are committed to pursuing that, and brought me to a new place and a new organization, still connected to the broader vision, and the opportunity to leverage our collective strength in this community to bring an increased amount of resources.
It's so easy for us, especially as we're younger in our careers or more early in our careers, to sell ourselves short. And it's so easy for us to listen to outside perspectives. And I had a lot of people on the outside minimizing my talents and minimizing my capabilities. So always believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, it's hard for others to believe in you also.
I started in this work in the early 80s. And it was a different time. We didn't have Family Medical Leave Act in place. We didn't have companies really recognizing the fact that people had both jobs and family lives, and the whole idea of work-life balance was really just starting to come into vogue. And I really feel fortunate that I started my career in a community where there were people who just understood that principle, who just got it, who said, you know, we should have balance in our lives. And this woman is doing a great job, but she also needs to be home with her family.
I was raised to give back, and so I'm very humble, though having, you know, I'm one of the 4 appointed officials in Grand Rapids, and despite that, I'm proud to have that, but that's not what drives me. What drives me is that service to people and making a difference in people's lives every day. That's the rich part of it. So I think in whatever profession you're in, that you have those characteristics where you work hard, you're committed, you persevere, you push through, and then you always give back.
One of the things that I've done and I think is really important to support women is normalizing breastfeeding in the workplace, providing support for after women have babies, and letting them know that there is a place for them here. You can have the family and the career that you want, and trying to do all that we can to support them there, because I think working women are awesome and working moms are awesome, and they know how to get stuff done. You know, they're efficient and they know how to prioritize, and I think that if we can make the workplace more welcoming and make that just normal and expected, then it helps women get back to work and feel comfortable doing that.
The people you surround yourself around, especially when it comes to mentors and coaches, people who have either been there before or can have insight in an area that you may not understand, especially when you don't know what to ask. People always say, you gotta ask questions, but if I don't know what questions to ask, then how do I get the answer that I need? So connecting to coaches and mentors, and then just having a group of either family or friends who really understand what you're passionate about and can help encourage you along the way. And also be honest, because sometimes we have bad ideas, and we wanna make sure there's people around us who can be honest about, like, you might want to rethink that idea and try something different, but then encourage us when we're on the right track.
So the year that I was let go, I also received a Fulbright scholarship, and I had the opportunity to teach in Romania. So I lost my job, went to Romania and spent a year teaching journalism there. And after that, I came back and had an offer full-time from the Grand Rapids Press to join them as a business writer. I didn't know anything about business at that point, and they offered me a couple of different positions, and I thought, well, that's the least odious one for me. So I took that, and from there, it led me into a career, you know, fully writing. So I was a reporter at the Grand Rapids Press, then I went over and worked at another PR and communications firm here in town, and finally I set out my own shingle in 2003.
I think by investing in the lives of young women today, we will start to see systems breaking. And we see that all the time at AYA by investing in 14, 15, 19, 20, 21-year-old young women who are really passionate and driven to create a different kind of West Michigan than the one they grew up in. we're beginning to see those young women take leadership roles internally at our organization, but also externally to start to drive change, especially around housing and homelessness.
If a woman is looking to be more influential, all she has to do is look in the mirror. She's brave, she's smart, she's intelligent. We were just gifted that way. And when you start to understand who you are and become the best of who you are, people will want to follow you. People will want to be involved with what you have because that passion and that purpose in which you live and walk in will be very ornament, and people will be attracted to that.
I spent 20 years in the construction industry, and there aren't enough women in this industry. I think that we all have to do our part to try and encourage more women, more girls into the industry, because the variety of thought, the creativity that women can bring to boardrooms and companies and the industry is really exciting to me.
When you happen to be a leader, you're often perceived to be like that you have everything together. I don't know about all these other women, but there are days where I'm like, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? And the imposter theory, I guess I would say, is oftentimes people can present so well online and look like they have it all together, but behind the scenes, they're crying and they're like, it's so lonely. It's really important that we, as women, come together and motivate and inspire and cheer on and work alongside.
For certain, influence in West Michigan among women is rising. We can continue to grow that influence by really nurturing the people who are influencing our youth and celebrating mentorship. I'm 52. I don't want to work forever. I want to make sure that I'm nurturing the people who are coming up under me. And I want to find other women who want to work within the defense industrial base and really nurture them and really find them and say, this is a path for you. And I think we have the forum for that in West Michigan, but I think we actually have to look outside the 50 women being honored.
You know, when you get really passionate about something that needs to change, you really want to dig in, and I can take the 20 years that I have gained through my experience and really work for children in foster care and children in shelters and various other issues that I want to really tackle, trying to figure out where you can pull the levers to get what you need to get done and to help people who don't know how to navigate government is really what I love to do.